The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome, everybody, to an excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach do we go, dear friends.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
And we're up a little less than 4 points on the S&P cash. We got back to kind of break even earlier in the day at 25.4486 for the low of the day. So we're only about some odd points higher than the low of the day. The high came in at 355.55, 255.55, 0.23 actually. Volume is not all that exciting, a little bit better than yesterday. I actually went back and looked for the lowest volume days in the last couple of years, either based on volume or on just raw dollars traded. Maybe I'll run that here a little bit because you get kind of an idea. Yeah, I'll do that. Anyway, pretty easy to go out and figure. Yesterday was a very low day, under $200 billion totally. And that's kind of numbers that you see the day before Christmas and a couple of days after Christmas, maybe even a little lower for those days, but very, very light day compared to previous Columbus days too. So yesterday pushed for higher highs. Volume really didn't come in. Today we had some kind of interim reversals that have not really taken. But again, overall volume here shows higher highs, and what we're going to have is fairly less volume. So we'll talk more about this today. Of course, you always have the opportunity to give me a call at 877-927-6648. We'll talk about some stocks that had some huge bounces and gave a lot of it back, and we'll talk about why in that. What else is going on? Well, just a very quiet part of the day. We'll see how today ends up. But seems like we don't have a lot of buyers and sellers. Right now, maybe a few more sellers than buyers. But we've got, what do they call it, hang time, when you're holding the basketball up and it seems like you're just floating. I think we get a lot of hang time mid-day these days where just not much is going on. If it is going on, it's going on in the dark pools, in the recesses of the market that we cannot see as retail traders. So we'll continue to look at it, but a lot of pops, and it just didn't seem like things went anywhere. We'll talk about those. Handful of other things, but let's get started with a little history. But a very good day to call me at 877-927-6648, because unless something changes, I think we're going to have kind of a quiet show today.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1780, he said, dyslexia cure for found. A powerful storm slams the islands of West Indies, killing more than 20,000 people on this day in 1780, known as the Great Hurricane of 1780. It was the deadliest storm ever recorded in the Western Hemisphere. I don't know why they didn't add that, because I know that there was one, a monsoon that killed 200,000 people that was recorded, but not in this history lesson. I guess we're just talking about the Western Hemisphere here. Martinique and Barbados, two little islands that I have been to. I've put my feet on them. They are real, not just some little spots on a map. Had the highest casualty rates. The best guess is that upwards of 9,000 people perished in Martinique from a huge storm surge. In Barbados, 4,000 people were killed. More than 1,000 people also died in Jamaica. Only Hurricane Mitch in 1998, which killed about 18,000 people, has approached the Great Hurricane in terms of lives lost. And of course, Hurricane Mitch is where I got dumped off in South America, only for that boat to go down. If you ever want to Google the Fantomé in Barefoot Cruises, you will find the boat that I was on some 8 or 9 times, more, maybe even more, maybe 12. It was built in the 1920s, 3-masted biggie. And I was very good friends with the captain of the ship, a young man that was only at the time 33, and so when I was about 38, 39. But very interesting things, hurricanes, and you know what? They happened before we were really over here and even a country. So at least this one they can't blame on us. I kind of get the feeling that everything is kind of a blame game these days. But I wasn't around. My parents were still somewhere in Germany. Couldn't be blamed for this storm. Anyway, on this day in 1780, again, give me a call. Question, ever looked into the holdings of HAO? If I have, I don't remember it. Let's take a quick look. HAO. What's the deal on this one? Okay. Let's look for its profile. Pick that up, and we'll find out about it. Guggenheim. Oh, okay. This is a small cap ETF for China. And Morningstar. The investment results correspond generally to the performance before the fund's fee and expenses of an equity index called the Alpha Shares China Small Index Fund. Fund using a passive or index investment approach seeks investment results that correspond generally to the performance of the China Small Cap Index. The index is designed to measure and monitor the performance of publicly traded mainland China-based small cap companies. Small cap must be a maximum of 1.5 billion float-adjusted market cap. Yeah, I guess it does say dollars, $1.5 billion or less. So it's interesting. Anyway, looking at this one, not a lot of big volume, 33,000 shares on September 21st. And of course, big thing. I try to stay away from China stocks just because there's not a lot of liquidity and not a lot of being able to look behind the curtain. People will say that we have that in the United States too. It's just better. It may not be perfect. I know a lot of people hate America because it's not perfect. It's just better than every other place in the world. So put that in your pipe and smoke it, Mr. Kami. Give me a call at 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And watching NVIDIA very closely, I said I was very nervous about the SMHs and the semis over the last few weeks. They've continued to kind of roll a little bit higher here. But one of the things I said, I didn't really like shorting Intel. I didn't like shorting NVIDIA. Well, at least the story on NVIDIA looks like it's going to change. We'll see how today ends up. They had some news where they've got a new platform for self-driving taxis. The only thing I can think of is had a discussion before this news came out yesterday in the den, and my question, or the question to me was, when do you think actually self-driving cars will be a real thing? And my first question was, well, do you really mean truly self-driving cars? I mean, when it starts to rain, do they just pull over and turn off? When it starts to snow, when there's ice on the road, what do you mean self-driving cars? And here's kind of the thing that's going to push self-driving cars that none of these guys are talking about. And that is how accurate you can get your GPS devices. They are just now starting to launch new GPS satellites with vastly improved clocks. And of course, you'll need a vastly improved clock in your receiver too. But the first thing is you got to get those clocks up in space, up to snuff, and they've made some big advances. Very, very minute changes in the clocks. For years, you could get within about 30 yards of your position. That's gotten down to maybe about 5 yards, but that's 5 yards is not good enough for driving a car. They're thinking that they can get this thing down to something like the neighborhood of 1.5 feet with some of these new clocks. Now, they do have it almost maybe to 6 or 8 inches. The question is whether or not anybody would be able to afford that kind of technology. in a self-driving car. Eventually, I think we will. The cost will be driven down. But there's a lot of things that have to happen to make sure those clocks are basically perfect. Because you're talking about such tiny amounts of variance that would put you on or off a road. Other than that, you look at the white edges of the road. So some places might have better roads than others. But really the thing that it fails me, because it would be the first thing as an engineer I would ask, which is, okay, how hard does it have to rain before the lasers and LiDAR quit working? What happens when it snows? Do you have to go back to regular driving? Is that an option? How hard does it rain? How hard does it snow before the thing quits working? Especially in a taxi service, which is the news, of course, on NVIDIA today. So if you had a taxi service that, especially down here in Florida, you get very heavy rains, that LiDAR is probably not going to work. But no one knows because no one will talk about it. And that's probably the thing that bothers me the most, is when everybody just papers over major problems like we're going to Mars, but the people are probably going to die by the time they get halfway there. On the first solar flare. They'll live a few weeks and then they'll croak. I want to see a little bit more about that. I want to know what happens when weather gets bad. Do you have to drive it yourself? That may be fine, but certainly a self-driving taxi, which is the reason NVIDIA popped to almost 198 last night after the bell and is now kind of rotated, is an issue. Now, this is one of the patterns that I like, because, of course, you finally came up and you tested the previous high. That's 191.20. You did that was on 42 million shares on September 18th. We're into it with just half that volume today. But more than that, I'm getting the story repeated to me correctly from that September 18th high back down to the September 25th low. I had a 9.9 on my power law vector indicator, but to the September 25th low up to this high only had a 6.4. So we're looking at basically 30% less energy on the way back up on this leg. I've also talked throughout the summer about how competition in this business is coming in. Competition and lower margins for their existing products. And even like the 1080, they're going to come out with the 1070. That should make margins start to drop. They had to react to AMD's push into the video business. And so there's a lot of things going on. But I think NVIDIA's had its day in the sun for a while. And the idea of a product that they're showing that really can't be pushed out for maybe 5 years is kind of tough. And two, no one's really talking about the price of LiDAR on these cars. Is $20,000 or $40,000 too much? That is the range that I'm hearing for the sensors. They also use ultrasonic sensors, and those are the ones that also may be very easily hackable by malcontent teenagers who just want to go around making ultrasonic sounds and watching cars run into each other. There's some other ways that you can hack LiDAR too and cause many traffic accidents. There's a lot of people that just like going around causing chaos. Everything's been hacked, but no one really talks about maybe the ability to hack lots of cars and crash them all like a NASCAR race. And I just, no one wants to talk about it. No one really wants to do anything. We've seen Tesla's hacked, and Mr. Musk saying, I'm glad somebody hacked it, and we'll fix that. Well, there's probably going to be a lot more of that going on. And I just wish that there was a little bit of skepticism in this sector instead of incredible blue skies. Anyway, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, post messages in the den on a fairly quiet Tuesday afternoon after a little bit of action this morning. We're up 3 points on the S&P cash. as we go through the day. And of course, when you actually look at the volume today, 1.8 billion shares, it is going to be a kind of an interesting day. When we come back, we'll look. Do I have time? We'll look at my little program that I wrote, kind of just a little adjunct today, to look at the lowest dollar volumes over the last couple of years, so you can get kind of an idea. But yesterday was such an anachronism for the days that I looked at. I want to show you basically where we get and how many of these days we get that kind of lighter volume. And it hasn't been like that before. So I think something's happening. Maybe we're going up 500 points or down 500 points. But I think yesterday was a signal, and we need to look at that a little bit closer. I suspect it's lower, but I think we did get a signal. So we'll talk about that when we come back. No way.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, I went back. Most of the days for Columbus Day, volume's been pretty good. I'm doing it with dollar amounts, and yesterday we had 192 billion $192.5 billion traded, which is fairly low. Normally we're doing 250 billion and as much as 600 billion in a day on the very high side when things really have moved. If you go back into 2008 when everything was falling apart, it was not uncommon to see $600 billion days. But what I wanted to pick up on here is that it seemed like the volume was fairly light, and you really have to look at the days. For a full day that wasn't going into a 3-day weekend, yesterday was the 27th lightest in the last 4 years. But then you have to start looking at the days that were lighter than it. The 24th of December, the 27th of November. So Thanksgiving, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Christmas. I'm just going down the list here if you're watching in Tiger TV or in the Den. The 23rd, the day before Christmas. The 27th, the day after Christmas. And of course, then you get into the 3-day weekends like the 28th of 2014, of course. And then you really find out that of the ones that you want to think about, the last day of the year, the 28th of 2016, you get pretty much down into about 20 before you get off days that you probably should just say are a mulligan. And maybe even, you might even be able to say, here's, 12/29, 2015, so the day before the next year. There are a handful of them, but by the time you get to the 24th day, you actually get mid-August for a day. But you're back to the 3-day weekend in 2016. Yesterday, really, if you want to call off all the mulligans, I'm going to say 22 to 25, depending on the way you want to count it. Yesterday was a day like the day before the New Year or the day before Christmas. Volume was incredibly light. And there aren't any other Columbus days anywhere close to the levels that we saw yesterday. So I think it was a fairly interesting signal. But when you're wondering about how much money actually does change hands, overall, NASDAQ, NYSE, literally everything that traded, 192 billion yesterday. But I'm going to say we're averaging around 250 billion to 300 billion most days. So fairly small move or light volume yesterday. That's interesting. Okay, so we'll see that. Anyway, looking at NVIDIA, as I said, you want to kind of watch this. What we do know, or at least let me put it this way, my opinion of watching this thing trade is if it would get back down to about 185, my guess is that this will really start weighing on the SMHs and the semis. So keep an eye on this one on the price. It's just like many others that we look at. SWKS, take a quick look at here when we don't have much in the way of Apple, which is down 3 cents today at 155.81. Looks to me like this thing's going to close at 155 on Friday without much real movement this week. This is down today. Volume is not really picked up so far yet, but my guess is that we are going to come back in Skyworks Solutions and test the September 25th low at 98.70. Let's take a quick look at AVGO and see what's going on with that one. And a little lower, not as low as it could be. And we'll see how this one comes out. Okay, let's get into some others out here today and see what we have. Autodesk. This thing had been up against its previous September 11th high, 117.12, got to 117.61 a couple of days ago. Things just been going sideways. 2.3 million shares from that September 11th high. You got into it with 1.8 million shares. So a little lighter, not horribly. Again, more interestingly to me, a lot of these stocks that came down in August with what we thought was going to be kind of low volume have not been exceeded by the energy off those lows. This one off the September 25th low really hasn't had a lot of juice back up to these highs. Alibaba, the Baba Nator. This thing, of course, pops a lot. Am I looking just at 3 months? Alibaba getting back into the September 19th high at 180.87. That had 26 million shares. We've got about 15 million shares on that one today. Let's look at a little longer back on this one. Heard Larry Pesavento talking about 3 drives to a top. And you can start making some arguments that at least some of the stocks that we're looking at can probably start fitting into that. I know that there's some recommendations about what you want. The last high was September 19th in Alibaba, 180.87 with 26 million shares. Got into it yesterday with 15 million shares. Today you got 16 million shares. You went to 184, kind of rolling over. My guess is this is at least going to come back into the trading range. And like I said, the energies off these recent September lows have not been all that exciting. September 26th low back up here from that September 19th high. Basically, you're off by about 25% on the energy on Alibaba Baba on this move up, and you've got it confirmed with these light volume tests of that September 19th high. So you've got a couple of things telling you that you need to start looking at Alibaba with a fairly jaundiced eye. Bank of New York, seeing a lot of these hang up here pre-earnings. I think most of those are on Friday morning for the banks. We're going to see the July 20th high tested in the Bank of New York Mellon, BK, 54.59 July 20th. And that had about 9 million shares. Got into it 2 days ago with 2.4 million shares. Yesterday with 1.7 million shares. Today you got 1.8 million shares and hanging up there. The energy, not all that exciting again off of its $50 low on September 8th. Nothing to say pull the trigger short on it, but a lot of these financials look like they're coming back up. Also in the software business, I'm looking at Checkpoint Software, July 19th, 116.63, 1.6 million shares. Last few days, we've got into that with 700,000 shares. Yesterday, 470,000 shares. Today, we spiked it again with 428,000 shares. And again, that's going back into this 1.6 million share high. The juice on this one has not been all that exciting since the September 20th low. Kind of finishing the ABC on the way up here, but not much juice to go to higher prices. We'll look at a few more as we come back.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And had a question on what I thought of Tesla. Am I still looking at 365 to 370? And the answer is yes. As I brought up from time to time, I actually look at the short percentage every single day. And what you know about shorting, or at least the way the data is reported, you only know is if the trade was a short. You don't know whether or not someone bought it back to cover by the end of the day. Tesla is one of those stocks that tends to be shorted rather heavily. I got into it when the thing was being shorted at like 15% a day. Now we're back up into the high 20s. That's probably a bad time to try to short Tesla. As soon as everybody quits shorting it, my guess is this thing will be ready to take its next leg down. But on highly shorted stocks, you really want to make sure that that for the most part they've given up on it. Sometimes you can still do well on them, but for the most part, you just have to wait a long time until these things are ready to crack. But again, Tesla, probably not a short out here. They'll run all the shorts probably intraday, and then that will be the time to pull the trigger on something like that. There's a handful of other stocks like that that are heavily shorted, but for the most part, there just isn't a lot of shorting going on. In fact, the last major short day of the year was January 6th. So we're pretty much 10 months in since shorts really started piling in on this market. What else do we look at? That we looked at that USG. Wanted to look at this one here today. The makers of sheetrock and other things like that. Don't know why everything's so slow these days. But certainly it is. Come on, give. Well, let's do this. All I got to do is remember what I was talking about. I wanted to look at something, and now I don't remember what it was. It'll come back to me. Oh, USG, that's what it was. We're waiting on that. For some reason, nothing wants to come up. Well, it finally came up. Okay. Watching this one, of course, they make sheetrock in the housing business. What I saw was a fairly strong move down from that September 8th high from $32.85 down to $29.28. That was the September 19th low. Now we're back up into that high. Yesterday we had 2.7 million shares. That's against that 6.5 million share high. Today, 1 million shares. And it looks like this thing's kind of topping out. Not this in particular, but it certainly looks like a trading range between 29 and 33. And that may be giving you some indication of what's going on in the housing market. But that certainly, the energy off that September 19th low to the high today has not been all that exciting. You've been kind of a slow move up with slow volume. Doesn't mean the end of the world, but it's not all that exciting. Did I do fake book already? Boy, I think I'm losing my mind. Fake book. 171.18 today. Off a little bit. You had kind of a little doji yesterday. This is a slightly bearish right shoulder on this doji from yesterday of 14.5 million shares. Today, you're down, though, with just 9 million shares. I know a lot of people are going to want to buy Facebook no matter what. Again, this is the 10th. And so what is it, November 1st or 2nd? These guys are going to be in front of Congress. That's probably not a time you do want to be owning Facebook. Why they get bludgeoned about the head and shoulders for all their Russian dealings. What else do we have? Looked at that. I got a question to look at the GDX. And, you got a little of a bounce, but no volume today. I think you want to wait for a retest of the 2281 October 2nd low. And you might start seeing the gold significantly outperform the miners if the markets do start pulling back. So this one may be showing a little weakness that was more indicative of the dollar and, of course, the trust in the markets, or actually the physical gold. And I don't know. It looks to me like, from what I looked at, the physical gold seems to be stronger to me than the miners, but I haven't spent a great deal of time on it. Still up 3.5 points on the S&P cash, just 1.9 billion shares. So another day of fairly light volume. Let's look at a few others out here. Quest to look at the TLT. No wish for you. Okay. Yeah. Now this one, kind of a reversal out here today too. I keep thinking this thing wants to see 122. Not a very good sign out here that this thing wants to go higher. You gave almost everything back. And again, we'll see how the day ends, but I continue to think that this is more of a signal that we are coming back down to this 122 area on the TLT as this thing works itself back. The first leg off that 129.56 high, I think we were short that one. And it got down to 125.33. Or actually, wasn't that one. It was one a while back. This thing did pop, did its ABC, pretty much concluded that ABC to October 6th. And, of course, now you're kind of going out here. But my guess is this thing is going to drift back down to that 122 level. I think that's a much better target now to start planning a trade than trying to pull one up here in all of this. What other question? HLF. Again, you can email your questions to path@tfnn.com. Okay. Well, you had a big spike. We talked about this. Spiked a couple of days. Of course, this thing is another one that's perpetually short. We'll give you the skinny on that when we come back. Just how bad is it now? But, certainly one in the last couple of days, they've shorted it pretty well. We'll be back in a minute.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of The Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Hi, folks, this is Tom O'Brien. Come join me next hour as we bisect and dissect these markets, right here on TFNN. Wow!
And just a couple of minutes left to go, so we'll go back here and take a quick look. We're up 3.5 points on the S&P cash. Again, volume's been rather quiet. We still don't have 2 billion shares on the NYSE as we go, consolidated tape, as we go in to the 3 o'clock hour today. So we're going to have yet another high, in this case, on the S&Ps at, what is that? At, why am I stuck on that one? Where'd it go? There it is. We're going to have kind of a second day here at 25.55 as a test with lighter volume. Yesterday, you could have given it up to Columbus Day. Today, you really don't have any big things. You could say we're waiting for earnings to start coming out on Friday, but a lot of these stocks don't have earnings and should, the financials do. But this isn't the financials that it's all about light volume. it is, for the most part, a lot of these stocks that have just gone in here, as we said, like NVIDIA, coming in, testing previous highs with half the volume, going significantly higher than the previous highs, and then kind of rolling back. We'll have to see how these things close. But, other than a handful of other stocks that are massively short, I think most of these things have given some fairly decent signals of hitting their highs and giving sell signals. Now, do they instantly roll over in 5 seconds? The answer is no, but we'll continue to keep an eye on this. I think we've got a few other ones out here that, you just know that they're going to run, but just not a lot of movement in some, and some spiky behaviors in others. Makes me think that we kind of continue to see maybe some at least temporary highs in these. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time. Remember to sell when you can, not when you have to. That's the important part. Hang on for Tom O'Brien and Andy Heck and the rest of the Tuesday crowd on the rest of TFNN.com.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.